Hello, my name is Atunde. So welcome. This is going to be my first video for the year, and today I'm just going to talk about like some of the what I resolved today. Now, in equipment cluster, for those of us who are running, large or expanding cluster. Right, for example, let's say you are running cluster Autoscaling on your cluster, so your nodes, you keep bringing in more nodes, right? Now this, as you launch more ports into the cluster, like due to memory requirements, it puts stress on your cube, on your core DNS or your cube DNS. Now how do you make sure that as your cluster increases, as it expands, your core DNS also expand, also increase at the same time? Now one thing that you can use is when I asked somebody, they suggested like you use HPA, right, whereby you track the core DNS resource memory utilization and use that to scale your number of core DNS. But the recommended approach by the Kubernetes community at large is using what we call the cluster proportional autoscaler. So what it simply does is it simply expands or increases the number of ports, your core DNS ports running, as the number of nodes you run in your cluster grows. So that was something I had to resolve today. Now if you go to this particular documentation, you will see you will be running a deployment called, in this case, let's call it your DNS autoscaler, right? And now your DNS autoscaler, because your core DNS is going to be in the kube system namespace, this is also going to be running in the kube system namespace, and all it's doing is very easy. It's going to keep track of it's going to keep track of the number of core DNS in your cluster to make sure it's proportional to the number of nodes or cores. So it makes a decision on based on number of nodes or based on number of cores in your cluster, right? Now how do you pass those config into this deployment? Remember, this is a deployment that tracks your core DNS deployment. So this is a deployment, your cluster proportional autoscaler, and what it simply tracks, it tracks your core DNS deployment. So in this case, you will simply say deployment / core DNS. So it will be tracking that particular deployment. So that's something I had to solve today. It's a very interesting problem, and it's something that I thought about, like how do we properly expand it, right? The first thing that comes to your mind most of the time is, why don't we use HPA and base it on memory? But it's always a good idea to expand your number of ports running as your cluster grows, right? Even when your core DNS memory utilization is not that severe, but it just makes sense to do that. All right, so that's how to solve that particular problem. Now if you want to read more about it, you can actually go into their you can actually go into their, where are you can go into their, they have a page. Let me see. All right, cluster proportional scalar, and it's you can see I've talked about it many times. All right, this is the project itself. You can read more about it. You can read about the config, how to set the maximum number of ports, the minimum number of ports, how to prevent single point of failure. That means you want to make sure that the deployment doesn't scale down to something below 2. All right, so those are like some of the features of this particular project, and it's something that you should definitely look into. All right, okay, so I mean, my next step is I want to start looking into some GK specific Kubernetes feature. I've been playing around with GK, but I haven't really dig deep into how do we properly launch a production like application GKE. So that's something I'm trying to dig deep into, and hopefully we have something to demo to you guys before next before tomorrow, actually, because I'm hoping to make this something I submit every day. All right, so I mean that's it for today. I don't have anything else interesting going on, and I'll talk to you later.